At Sydney Airport, immigration officers have flagged a male passenger arriving in Australia from New Zealand. The man has a substantial criminal history, so officers need to determine whether he might pose any threat to the Australian community. Before immigration decides whether he can cross the border, Officer Greg will interview the man.
Now, do you agree you have a substantial criminal history?
Yes.
Okay. Not going to beat around the bush. Now, basically, with New Zealanders, there's a special agreement between the Australian government and the New Zealand government, as you're aware.
Yep.
Basically, it allows New Zealand citizens to come into Australia as long as they're of good, what we consider a good character.
Yep.
Okay. Now, it means they can live here, work here without restriction. Now, the way the law is written, good character is anybody who has not been convicted to terms of imprisonment totaling 12 months or more. Okay. Now, because you have been convicted for more than 12 months, you're not eligible for that type of visa.
I understand it.
Okay.
Yep.
Dan seems calm and cooperative, but as far as immigration is concerned, his history is something that can't easily be ignored.
This is the New Zealand Police report. Basically, I've gone through it. It's fairly extensive.
Not very extensive. Yep.
In Sydney, Customs are working with Medicare Australia officers in a joint operation targeting the illegal flow of millions of dollars worth of Medicare subsidised drugs. The drugs are leaving Australia and ending up in countries where they are hard to come by. And today, dozens of packages bound for Vietnam are being screened.
We've got lots of tablets here. They could be prohibited exports under the customs regulations, or they could be PBS fraud. Because of the consistency of the packaging, this is what identifies it to us as being tablets.
So Medicare Australia officers Ken and Noel will now work with Customs to determine what sort of medication they're dealing with.
Looks like PBS medicine from here.
Yeah, there's no boxes. I wonder where the boxes are gone.
They've tried to separate the boxes from the medicine, but it's still, you can see it's PBS medicine, most of it.
These 5 packages picked up by this investigation have all been sent from the same source.
One person has sent these boxes and have done their best somehow to conceal that fact.
And they all contain subsidised medication. So whoever was trying to get them out of the country could be facing a possible prosecution. Back at Sydney Airport Immigration, Officer Greg is interviewing a passenger with a substantial criminal history.
Do you wish to comment on any of these convictions and why they occurred, the seriousness of them?
If he can show
You're
Officer
saying it was
Greg
wages
good
which-
grounds for compassion, then he will be one step closer to entering the country.
So I was taken from my grandparents at the age of 8, and I was put in a state ward, and I went through foster home to foster home to foster home, having no parents. And that basically, me, a good little boy back in the day, getting put in amongst naughty boys in Auckland City, and that's where I learned, started getting into trouble, started rebelling and started doing all this sort of stuff. And I mean, that was what I was taught when I was little. That's all I knew from the homes that I went to, and that was just a learning curve for me. I had no control over it for the fact that I didn't have anyone to pull me away from that.
For Greg, Dan's argument shows that to an extent he's been the victim of circumstance and that he clearly sees the error of his
On the
ways.
streets in Auckland City, I was younger.
And although
9 years
his
old.
run-ins with the law definitely slowed down, they didn't exactly stop.
Yeah, I noticed after the mid-90s things calmed down a lot.
Yep.
But in the last few years, just you seem to have a few run-ins
Little
again.
bit. This was bloody. That was a mistake. This one, failure to appear, because I did appear. So that's that little one. Basically, I wasn't getting paid, and then after I finally added it up, I got sick of my bosses for not paying me what was due, and I just took the money and walked off. Theft of property. It was. As with farmers, I had a problem down in Pakuranga. I got 5 children. They get down to our local plaza. They're kids being kids, and the security guard kicks their asses. Well, I didn't agree with that. I went down to drag it, talk to him as to why he's kicking my kids' asses. He didn't like me, and he told me to piss off. and he wouldn't come out and confront me over the issues, and I had my kids out there, so I walked in and grabbed a pair of pants and walked out with them to get them outside, and next minute the cops turn up and I'm charged with theft. Now no one touches my kids. So I was just being a father person.
But his criminal record isn't the only issue as far as Australian immigration is concerned. In quarantine, officers have detected a number of suspect items in the bags of a passenger returning from the Sudan.
We've definitely got a large amount of food item in the middle of this bag here. There's also something else up there. There's something in here. So we'll get Leonie to look at that as well. Definitely from this middle and to the there.
Closer inspection is required to determine exactly what the man has brought into the country.
This inside, is this all yours in here? Yeah, it belongs to you. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to open up and have a look here.
The search quickly reveals prohibited items, which he didn't declare.
It's not food.
No, but it is.
Not food.
It says down here, nuts.
But that's just the beginning, as more and more suspect items are uncovered.
These are all fresh dates. You can see in here, take off the shell, and they're quite moist. So there's about 3 kilos of those. Got some cracked wheat here, which is definitely very high risk to our primary industries, and it's quite contaminated. There's, little bits of insect and things like that in there. And this is just an unidentified herb. It's really not sufficiently dried, and it is also contaminated. There's little bits of seed and things like that. And also we seized quite a large amount, about 10 kilos of raw tobacco, and that was all contaminated as well.
This is bad enough, considering the man is a regular traveller. But Officer Leonie discovers bags filled with dangerous fireworks that could have serious implications for the passenger. In a joint operation targeting the illegal export of medication, Medicare Australia and customs officers have decided to take a closer look at these packages bound for Vietnam.
Most of these medicines have been removed from their original packaging, which makes it difficult for us to identify who the original scripts were actually written for, and it makes it difficult for us to be able to trace the drugs themselves. Most of these medications are the type of medication that would normally be used by somebody who has stomach ulcers or has a cholesterol problem or something like that, which in a place like Vietnam are very hard to get, and if you were able to get them, are quite expensive to buy.
Discounted medicine bought here under our pharmaceutical benefit scheme is sold overseas on the black market for a huge profit. And this expensive stash is exactly what they're looking for.
Because it's not in the packets, it'd be sold individually, probably be sold in a corner store or just a general store over there, and they'd get whatever they could get for it.
The illegal export of these drugs is not limited to the mail. At Sydney Airport, the operation continues as officers are checking the luggage of departing passengers.
They can be in bottles like this, but they tend to be in blister packs. So if they're scattered throughout the bag, then they're quite easy to pick up. This next bag, next two actually.
No, this is against
Christmas.
In quarantine, Officer Leonie has just discovered some extremely dangerous items in a man's luggage.
No, this is fireworks. Fireworks is not allowed.
Fireworks are classed as explosives.
Okay.
Carrying them on a plane is a very serious offence that could result in a jail sentence. Leonie calls for customs, and Officer Carroll arrives to inspect the illegal cargo.
Get your passport, please, sir. Your passport.
The huge number of fireworks this man brought with him could have amounted to a lethal combination.
You've broken the law. Air Navigation Act, you could bring the whole plane down. You've got unstable fireworks, bags full of them, packed in with cigarette lighters. You could kill everybody on board the aircraft.
This one here needs to be looked at.
Customs have spotted what looks like a large amount of prescription drugs in these 2 bags. Medicare Australia officer Ken needs to know why the drugs are being exported out of the country and if they're Medicare subsidised.
This is a medicine subsidised on the PBS. It's a prescription medicine. It's a cancer drug. Its value is nearly $700 for each box of tablets. In this case, I think we will interview the passenger.
Ken immediately contacts customs officers in departures so they can track down the owner of the bag. If the passenger doesn't have a legitimate reason for taking this expensive medication out of the country, they could be in serious trouble. A passenger from New Zealand has arrived in Australia with a rather colourful criminal history.
Basically, Greg, man to man be, I can tell you here and now, there's no way I'm going to get in trouble. I've got too much to lose.
Dan seems adamant that his days of breaking the law are behind him.
I'm hoping that this is a stepping stone to really... We got a good life over there. I get $20 an hour for delivering meat, and I got a good job. And I turned up to work yesterday and said, "Oh, boss, I'm handing my notice. I'm going to Australia to see if I can do it over there." And and that was basically it. Not anyone can carry meat, mate. I'll tell you that now. Not anyone can carry meat. Hindquarters, forequarters, pigs. So I really want to come to Australia for a long time.
Yeah.
But this was only a thing. That's why my wife and them all still back over there, still in the house and still waiting.
Until you see.
Until I see where I'm at.
Yeah.
No.
So on this occasion, you were coming over here indefinitely?
This is what we want to do: come to Australia and get ahead. So, just work really hard. My kids into league, and I want to get them into league over here. I reckon this Aussie attitude is win, and that's the attitude. We don't have that in New Zealand.
Sonny Bill Williams.
And so then I'm looking at my kids' futures, and I believe they're going to be good league players. Mm-hmm. And so that was one step. The other one was to try and take over my dad's business for me.
So your father's here in Australia?
My father's been here for a while, yeah. Okay.
It's a complex case, and before making a decision, Officer Greg has to consult with his supervising officer.
Suspend the interview. I'm going to have a chat with my boss.
The outcome of this meeting will determine whether Big Dan stays or whether he goes. At Sydney Airport, a passenger returning from the Sudan is in serious trouble with customs after bringing in bags full of fireworks. Customs Officer Joe is on standby in case Arabic translation is required. She explains the high risks of these particular fireworks.
Firstly, against Air Navigation Act, you're not allowed to carry these on an aeroplane for obvious reasons. And most of them are pretty much self-starters. As you can see here, these little ones. So they can basically rub against each other and just ignite. So very dangerous, a very high risk to people travelling, especially on aeroplanes. And with all the warnings that you see these days, I'm surprised people actually ignore them, and there's no excuse for having these at all.
It says it on your ticket, no fireworks. It says it when you check in. And you should never carry fireworks with cigarette lighters.
Not big firework.
They are fireworks. It does not matter. They can explode and bring the aircraft down. Because it's a breach of the Air Navigation Act, I'm having the Australian Federal Police to come over, and they will have a look, check what you are carrying, and they will decide whether they will prosecute you for this, because they don't like people carrying fireworks with cigarette lighters. You don't carry these on board an aircraft. Do you understand that?
At Sydney Airport, Customs and Medicare Australia officers have located a woman about to board a flight to Vietnam after more than $2,000 worth of prescription drugs were found in her checked luggage.
That's your signature? Yeah. Okay, these are your bags? Yeah. You packed your bags yourself? Did you put your things in your bags?
Yeah.
Do you know what's inside?
Yeah, I know.
Officers are checking to make sure that the passenger is not illegally exporting PBS subsidised medicine to either sell overseas or supply to a family member.
Do you have any medication at all in any of your bags? Medicine?
Medication, no.
No?
I don't have. I just have medicine in my bag, in the big bag I said.
You have medicine in your big bags?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd just ask you a few questions if I could.
Yeah.
And you said you had other medicines downstairs in your bag.
Yeah.
Is that for yourself?
No, but my mum said.
It's
My kidney.
It's for your mum. Is your mum living in Australia or Vietnam?
Vietnam.
Vietnam. Is she Australian citizen or
No,
Vietnamese?
she stay here for many years.
Many years.
Yeah, this year she cannot come because she's sick. She have something wrong already.
So she couldn't come, she's sick?
Yeah.
That's not an issue. The only issue we've got is in relation to the medication, because we need to find out whether or not the Australian government paid for any of that medication.
No,
Okay,
this one
so
private.
that's
not,
right. That's fine.
Yes,
That's fine.
Not government pay.
How much did you pay?
1,700
1,700. You paid 1,000
for 3 boxes.
for 3 boxes.
That's only right.
That's about right, yes.
Her story checks out, and she can now take the medicine to her sick mother in Vietnam.
In this case, after talking to the traveller, it seems that she paid the full price. She's done the correct thing, and there's no subsidy on the PBS.
It's illegal to take or send PBS medicine overseas if it's not for the personal use of the traveller or someone travelling with them. It can lead to a $5,000 fine and up to 2 years imprisonment. Big Dan from New Zealand is being assessed by immigration for being a behavioural concern non-citizen.
He's admitted, yeah, he's got a serious criminal history. Basically what he was saying, when he was young, he was put in foster care from when he was 8. So basically he grew up on the streets. I asked him about his temper. He says he except when it comes to his kids, he doesn't really have a temper. He's a big guy, but there's no indications that he drinks a lot or takes drugs. So there's nothing untoward there.
Unfortunately for Dan, behaviour isn't the deciding factor in allowing people of behavioural concern into the country. Ironically, it might not be Dan's past that sees him come unstuck. It might be his future.
He's got a one-way ticket.
Yes.
He said he's quit his job. He's come out here indefinitely to start work with his father.
Yeah.
Okay. He's got $300 cash plus about another $1,000 in the bank in New Zealand. The risk is, if we do let him in, if we consider him for a border visa, this is where I'm really in two minds. Because he can barely afford to pay for his ticket back to New Zealand as it is.
If the passenger is granted a border visa, that won't allow him to work or even stay indefinitely. However, his one-way ticket and limited funds are making the decision a difficult one for officers. In Sydney, a passenger is being questioned by customs after bringing in bags full of extremely dangerous fireworks. But before customs decide exactly what to do with him, quarantine also has concerns that need to be dealt with.
I think probably I'm actually going to issue this passenger with a quin, which is a fine for bringing in fresh dates to the country. He has a few other items, but the fresh dates is the concern for us. This is a legal document, and you've ticked down here that you do not have any food, so you've made a false statement. You do have food. Consequently, I'm going to fine you today $220. The raw dates is a very high risk to this country. You are able to bring in dried dates or processed dates, commercially packaged. You are not allowed to bring fresh dates. These are straight from the tree, and they present a very high risk to this country. So that's why you're going to receive a fine today of $220.
The items prohibited under quarantine law are disposed of immediately and the fireworks are seized.
So very carefully carry that because there's self-igniting fireworks in there.
The man was taken into an interview room for further questioning. Customs officers called in the Australian Federal Police, who took the man away for questioning.
Okay, Daniel. We've discussed it with my manager, and he's discussed it with the airport's manager. Now, there are various factors we have to consider whether we're going to let you into Australia on this occasion or not. Because you only have a one-way ticket, and at this stage you've expressed an intention that you're here to see about working with your father taking over the business. If we let you in on a border visa, the risk is that you're going to just stay, because the border visa has no work condition, you can't work on the border visa, and that you must return within a week or 2 weeks or whatever. Okay. So we unfortunately aren't in a position to offer you that option at this stage. Okay. Okay.
Dan now has the option of applying to the Australian Embassy in New Zealand for another chance to stay here. But today, he'll be going home.
Okay. So what I'll do now is I'll go out there and see if I can
find me a plane.
Yep.
And chuck me on the highway on the fucking airstrip and I'll hitchhike. Oh no, you ain't optimistic, bro. Where I come from, bro, you have to be optimistic, eh? It's just an obstacle, you know? It's just obstacles. You overcome the bloody things. And them one dwelling in the thing, geez, get over it. Harden up, mate. Hey.
Dan flew back to Auckland that afternoon. He has not yet applied for a further visa to Australia. Italian-born Riccardo has just flown in from Thailand on a tourist visa.
He came in 2005 and stayed here for the whole year on a working holiday visa. Then he actually applied for a visitor visa, which he departed on, and then he's coming back 10 days later on a visitor's visa again.
And immigration has concerns that with just a tourist visa, he may try to work.
Okay, now tell me, what are your intentions to stay in Australia? What are your purposes?
I don't know, now stare con gli amici e viaggiare.
And meet my friends and travel.
So what travel plans have you made?
Niente. Bella vita, good life.
In any regards, but you would like to stay in Australia? You don't really want to go back to Italy?
No.
No? No? And why do you don't want to go back to Italy?
Because in Italy it's different. It's different. It's too expensive, everything.
Yeah.
Here if you work, you can pay the rent of your house. In Italy, no chance. In Italy, I live with my family. I work every day, but I live with my family because it's impossible to rent.
So mainly, you would like to continue staying in Australia? You would like to continue staying in Australia, if possible. Okay.
Immigration thinks that he might want to work, but that might not be the real reason Riccardo's here.
When was the last time you was in Australia?
Last November.
Customs officers at Melbourne Airport became suspicious when a Chinese passenger displayed unusual behaviour at the primary line.
He was acting quite nervous. He was fiddling with his clothes, he was shifting his feet quite a bit. He sort of drew his coat in, he seemed really nervous and sort of quite reluctant to answer questions as well. And he also has very little luggage in his bag as well. He only has a couple of pairs of jeans, so he doesn't have a lot of luggage for someone that's here for 12 months to study.
So now the shift supervisor has stepped in to ask a few questions.
Do you have anything on your body? No. No, you're not carrying anything? No. Okay. Do you want to I'll just see your coat. I'll take that. Thank you. Put it just down here. Do you have anything in your pockets?
No.
Nothing at all?
No.
What about this one here?
Oh, this money.
Yep. Well, that's something in your pocket.
It's money.
Yep. So bring it out. How much cash are you carrying?
10,000.
10,000.
Yeah.
10,000 exactly?
Yep.
So why didn't you declare 10,000 on here?
It's over. I mean,
see here? It says, are you carrying 10,000 or more?
sorry, I just see this
give it a push. You have no other cash?
No.
Check his.
Oh no, yeah, another 10,000 I have.
You have another 10,000.
Yeah.
Where is that?
In the pocket.
It's a significant discovery, a total of $20,000 cash, which the passenger has not declared, and it's double the limit.
You don't have to say anything or do anything, but anything you do say or you do maybe use in evidence. Do you understand?
Over in immigration, officers are concerned an Italian man may be entering the country on false pretenses. He has previously worked in Australia and is now returning on a tourist visa.
How much does he have in the way of funds?
Well, the key card here, the Commonwealth key card, he said he's got no funds. He only opened that account just because his pay was going into that account, but he doesn't use that account.
How much money has he got on him now?
He's got no money on him now.
But didn't he have some American dollars?
He's got no other credit cards, no nothing.
So now you've got to be thinking about whether or not he's a genuine tourist.
Ricardo will need money to stay in Australia, and working illegally may be the only way he can achieve this.
And he seems to have no funds to fall back on. And now he wants, what, another 3 months?
He's staying for another 3 months, according to the...
And what's his intention after that? Is it to come back and stay another 3 months? Is he using that visa as a way of residing in Australia? Because that's not okay, that's a tourist visa. The aim is for him to have a good time. But if he's got no funds, then how can he use it as a tourist visa?
Customs officers at Melbourne Airport have discovered $20,000 of undeclared cash on this Chinese student.
Yeah, initially I thought he was just bringing in excess cigarettes. So initially I was just going to go through the process of taking his cigarettes. And then throughout looking in his bags, he just became increasingly nervous. So I guess that drew my attention to look further in his bag and ask more questions and speak to my supervisor and go from there.
No, the feds have come in, so they're on their way.
Do you want me to clear out the search room to take him in there to wait with the feds?
Customs will now go through a much more thorough process in dealing with this student.
Okay, what we're concerned about, because you had $10,000 cash in your pocket, $10,000 cash in your jacket, we're concerned you may have more cash or something else on your body. Okay, so what we're going to do is just a frisk search. Okay, you need to read that front and back for me. You've read that? Understood it?
Yep.
Okay. You happy to do the frisk here, or do you need to go to a private room? Just here? Okay. This officer will do a frisk search on you now, okay?
Just want to take your glasses off, mate. Like those ones off for me. Put them on the bench. Okay, just face that way. I think he's got something. Gonna have to caution him and upgrade it. Okay?
At the International Mail Handling Unit, Customs Officer Jake's shift will involve the careful scrutiny of hundreds of packages from all over the world. And one very large package from India has caught Jake's attention.
Okay, so it appears to be a few articles of clothing in this package. Not exactly sure what else there is. There seems to be a rather square area in the middle. Yeah, it's quite hard to make out actually what's inside that clothing, so to me that definitely deserves further investigation.
As Jake takes the item to the inspection area of the facility, he has noticed that the written details are also a reason for concern.
It seems to be a rather odd name. The address doesn't really stand out to me. There's a few spelling mistakes, but coming from India, it's a rather high-risk country for us, so it's good enough for me to have a look at.
A customs officer's job often works by the process of elimination. So until all the contents are thoroughly checked, this parcel isn't going anywhere. Immigration is concerned that an Italian passenger here on a tourist visa could be intending to work. So the question of funding is now crucial.
So at the moment, you don't have any money on you.
No.
So you don't have any money on you at the moment.
I have $60.
Would you go back to your previous employer? Would you go back working there?
If I ask to work, my ex-boss, I don't have problem.
But it is a problem. If Ricardo had been in breach of his previous visa, his current visa might be cancelled and he would be refused entry into Australia.
We need to ascertain whether or not he was in breach of his visa condition at the time he was working there. It may be that he had work rights, which is fine. If his visa didn't have work rights, then and the employer confirms that he was working during that period, then of course he's breached his conditions and goes to the heart of his of the reason for him being here in Australia. Is he a tourist or is he here working?
So Vince makes a call to Ricardo's previous employer in Sydney.
What sort of work was he doing there? On the bar work? Yep, okay. Bar manager. Okay, and how often did he work? On the weekends mainly. Okay, and do you know if he intends coming back to work with you in the future? You hope so. Is he intent, or are you intent on re-employing him?
And if the answer is yes, Ricardo may be refused entry. In the mail centre, Customs Officer Jake is deconstructing a suspicious parcel out of India.
Okay, as I thought from the X-ray image, you can see there's quite a few men's shirts in here. They feel quite heavy, and there's also a bunch of saris.
Most of the items appear to be normal, but the abnormal weight of several shirts has Jake's alarm bells ringing.
Now, having a closer look at these shirts, I'd actually be quite interested to re-X-ray these shirts to have a look to see if there's anything inside. It might be a quick way to establish if they're okay or not. All right, so if I chuck these through individually, I should get a better indication of if there is something concealed inside or not. Righto, there you go. You can see that X-ray image is not consistent. It appears to be, there's quite a lot of organic matter in those shirts, which shouldn't be there. As you can see with this one, it's very different to the others. So I'm going to take those shirts out, open it up and have a look and see what we can find.
Customs officers at Melbourne Airport have discovered $20,000 of undeclared cash on a Chinese student.
Of course, you can upgrade it.
They have now conducted a frisk to determine if anything is concealed on his body.
Okay, just wait there. Okay, I felt something around your groin area. Are you carrying anything there? No? Okay. You do not have to say or do anything, but anything you do say or do may be used in evidence. Do you understand that? Okay? You understand?
Yes.
Okay.
The Australian Federal Police are on their way to talk to the passenger about the huge amount of undeclared cash he's carrying. Now the frisk search will be upgraded to the removal of all of the passenger's clothes.
To be present during any questioning.
We need to upgrade the search just to see if there's anything there, okay? So come with me this way.
Immigration is talking to this passenger's previous Australian employer to see if Ricardo intends to work while he's here on a tourist visa.
But the last time he worked there was about 3 or 4 months ago. And when I asked the manager of the restaurant whether Ricardo was intent on coming back and working, the manager said, "I hope so." And he said that Ricardo had to see if he could pick up the visa.
But with no work visa and no money, he's now given immigration another concern.
Sorry?
I have to find a girl, Australian girl. For the visa.
For the visa?
No, sorry, girl.
I think that his aim is to find a way to remain permanently, but he just doesn't really know yet how he's going to manage that. He mentioned to Aruna about finding a partner, maybe staying that way. I don't think we can call him a genuine tourist, do you?
At the International Mail Centre, Jake has been inspecting a suspicious package containing clothes from India. And already he has narrowed his investigation down to just a few items.
Out of 10 shirts, it's actually in 7 of them, and all the saris are okay. Now I need to open one of these up and we'll have a look and see what's actually inside. Okay, as you can see, there is a cardboard inlay inside this shirt. And there you go. Now, that definitely should not be in there.
A Chinese passenger arriving at Melbourne Airport has been taken into an interview room for a full body search after officers discovered $20,000 cash and also a possible concealment on his body during a frisk search.
We took him in, we did a frisk search and took him into the room and upgraded the frisk search because during the frisk we felt something down around his groin. Took him in for the B2, which was the removing of all his clothes, and nothing was located. So now the federal police have come in and just having a chat to him about his undeclared cash.
The federal police issued him with a warning for not declaring the $20,000. In this case, the student was allowed to fill out a cash transaction report and keep the money. In Sydney immigration, an Italian passenger on a tourist visa has promised he won't work in Australia. However, officers still have a big concern.
Currently, you don't have any money in there. Is that what you're saying? You don't know how much money you have in there?
No. My father gave me some money, but cash, you know.
At this stage, he is depending on someone else to fund his holiday, which puts him in a precarious position.
If he walks out of here today, he's living on air, really, without the support of the people around him. And we wouldn't grant him a visa if we thought he was going to have to live on $60. So I think we need to consider cancelling it, Aruna. I think you might need to prepare a notice of intention to consider cancellation.
But before she does this, Aruna wants to give Ricardo one last chance to prove he has the means to support his stay. She's going to call his father in Italy to verify his story.
And if he says yes, I'll give him the money, that's a different story.
Okay.
But other than that, I think really you're looking at a person that's going to be forced to seek work to survive.
So the phone call to his father in Italy will be crucial in deciding Ricardo's fate. Customs officer Jake has discovered a concealment in the packaging of shirts from India. He is now extracting a sample to place in a drug test kit to determine the contents.
Basically, it's a narcotic field test kit, so we just open it up, put a sample of the powder in the bottom, break the ampules, and then it will give us a result. And this should tell me, if we get a green colour, then we're going to have heroin. There we go. Straight away we've got a green colour. It's a very strong reaction, indicating heroin.
Jake's job is not over yet, as he needs to determine the total drug contents of the whole package.
These 7 business shirts all have concealer powder inside them. So now I'll just take a weight of that. There we go, 3.76 kilograms gross. Okay, so that being 3.76 kilos, I've weighed one of the shirts that doesn't have anything concealed inside of it. and that is around about 250 grams. So I'm estimating there's about 1 kilo of heroin in this concealment. Now that's a great find for us.
Over in immigration, Italian-born Riccardo has had a long and anxious wait to learn if he can start his holiday in Australia.
I want to go home to sleep. That's it.
He has given immigration permission for an Italian-speaking officer to call his father in Italy to verify whether he'll be sending him money to support his 3-month stay.
Ma lei di solito manda soldi a suo figlio per mantenerlo in Australia o in vacanza, o come fa a mantenersi? E più o meno quanto le manda ogni 15 giorni? It's almost daily.
So Riccardo's father confirms that he will provide funding.
He does send money regularly, probably on a fortnightly basis.
Yeah, the father does?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know how much he sends?
Well, he says about 200 euros every 2 weeks or so, or on a needs basis.
In this case, it's a difficult case because we've got just as many reasons to cancel as to not cancel, but you try and take into consideration his personal circumstances. He's young, you know, full of optimism, I suppose, and wanting to explore.
And now Aruna will give Riccardo their decision.
Okay, we have spoken to your father. He did say that he's been supporting you. Okay, I am giving you this as a warning that do not breach your visitor visa conditions because your visa can be cancelled.
Significare l'espulsione.
Okay, I'm letting you go now.
Ok, buon soggiorno.
Thank you, interpreter.
Grazie. Thank you.
Okay.
Ciao. Thanks. Ciao.
Ciao,
Okay. Interview suspended at 12 o'clock.
2 o'clock. From
12 o'clock.
from 6:30 in the morning. 2 o'clock.
Riccardo remains lawfully in Australia after successfully applying for a further visa, allowing him to study for a diploma in business.
Ciao, grazie.
After a long flight and a 6-hour interview, Riccardo finally gets his wish and heads off home to sleep.